And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Tuesday, February 25th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. Here we are on a Tuesday. A little bit of frost this morning, not an appreciable amount, but enough that you might need to scrape just a little if your car was outside and uncovered. Anyway, it's Tuesday. We're on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and today we're going to be featuring the city of Mount Juliet. But first, we have today's Healthy Minute, of course, brought to you by Vanderbilt Wilson. At some point, most everyone has experienced that discomfort in the chest known as heartburn. But the condition is more than a painful annoyance. It can do serious harm. Heartburn, or acid reflux, affects an estimated 15 million Americans daily. For relief, most people turn to over-the-counter medicines and simply try to ignore it, assuming it's no more than a nuisance. However, chronic heartburn that is not properly treated can produce serious consequences for an individual's health. These consequences include tooth decay, ulcers, inflammation, abnormal tightening of the esophagus, and even increase the risk of esophageal cancer. That's cancer of the esophagus. If you struggle with chronic heartburn, talk to your provider about ways you can alleviate heartburn symptoms. And for more information, visit VanderbiltWilsonCountyHospital.com. Again, a reminder of life's essential 8. Improving and maintaining cardiovascular health can help you enjoy a longer, healthier life. And we encourage you to eat better, be more active, quit tobacco, get healthy sleep, manage weight, control cholesterol, manage blood sugar, and manage blood pressure. All right, with that, let's go to the telephone this morning. Justin Beasley is waiting. He's the Mount Juliet Communications Director. And Justin, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman. I want to nitpick something you said. Any kind of frost on the windshield is not appreciated all year round. I'm praying on my knees for warmer weather, and I think we're going to get it this week.
Okay. Yes, it's already better today, but I think we do have a little rain coming in, but spring is on its way. We know that. How are things in Mount Juliet?
Things in Mount Juliet are great, man. We really appreciate it. I know every time you say hello, good morning, and my tagline is we appreciate you giving us the opportunity to brag about Mount Juliet, the little slice of heaven that we have. Things are great, and we thank you for the opportunity. We do this every time talking with you, Coleman.
Well, it's always nice to have you with us, and not only are you well informed about what's happening in the Mount Juliet area, but you're quite a conversationalist yourself, and there's we don't have much downtime or anything like that. There's a healthy conversation going between the two of us each time you're on, and that's great. You had a Board of Commissioners meeting last night. We might start there today, if that's okay with you.
Yes, sir. Hey, you're the narrator of the program. I'm just following your lead. So last night we had a meeting, a Board of Commissioners. We meet twice a month, the second and fourth Monday at 6:30 at City Hall. We've had some workshops here lately, but last night, brief meeting, not too long, nothing really at length to discuss. One of the bigger topics that came away from this, we did have a budget amendment upcoming, and that is to fix the railroad tracks at North Mount Juliet Road. For anybody who knows, traveling north, say from the clock tower, from the Chamber of Commerce, heading north towards the paper mill, Whataburger, that side of town, most of the time when you cross over those railroad tracks, people are veering off to the shoulder to the right a little bit. The veterans, the ones that have been from Mount Juliet, know how to avoid it. Well, most people don't that are traversing to and from. I actually did a story on this when I was at Channel 4 with Commissioner Ray Justice at one point before I joined the city. So I know a little bit about it. Basically, we have a budget amendment to try to fix that. It is a state route, but we're, if you know about Juliet, time is of the essence, and our people are of the most importance, especially when it comes to safety. So it is not unlike us to spend money or resources or time and effort, even if it is a state route, to fix that for the residents. So we have a budget amendment to do that. The thing around this is when it's going to happen, probably looking sometime in the summer, and we would have to make sure traffic was rerouted through Industrial Road. For those that are listening that know about Industrial Road and getting off that to North Mount Juliet, some people do it already. I did it yesterday to get on Division to avoid the railroad crossing and to avoid the stoplight and to avoid the left at the Chamber of Commerce. So it's not too bad of a deal. Now, when you think of everybody doing it, yeah, there's probably a little bit of headache there. But as you know, to take a couple steps forward, you got to take a couple steps back. And I give kudos to our commission for making that happen. And hopefully we see the desired result.
How long will it take to actually do this? Are we talking about hours, days, weeks? How long?
I never want to marry myself to a certain number, but I would think probably a couple of days, 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. I think the desired result would definitely be worth it. And knowing our great public works team and all the numbers and smart guys they have over there, will do it during a time where traffic is less busy, maybe on a holiday weekend and maybe sometime on a weekend to where you're not affecting that much traffic and workflow. So that remains to be seen. Of course, we'll notify the public and let them know about all that. But we do feel like that is something necessary that we need to fix and not think about anymore. So hopefully that happens.
Well, one of the things you're doing here, really, I mean, this is a state route. I suppose it's really the state's job, but it's not the first time that you have come in and kind of prompted them. Maybe I know what you did down there. Well, a couple of things really. You've city has spent some money to spur the state on, and this I guess is a lot lesser amount of money and all that, but still it's something that needs to be done. So you're not just sitting around waiting for it to finally happen when they get around to it.
Oh yes, absolutely. And listen, we understand that the state has everybody has things that they want to change within their state routes, and they're all pitching that to the state, and there's only so much time and energy the state can spend within a calendar year to do it. So I'm definitely not here to make you think any less of TDOT. They do fantastic work. We saw that this last week with the snowstorms, and we've seen it with their relationship with us working to widen a ton of roads in Mount Juliet. So they do great work. I just think it says a lot about our city, our character, and Kenny Martin's leadership to say, hey, we know this is a state route, but that don't mean we won't pick up trash. That don't mean we won't clean the streets. That don't mean we won't, try to pave a road and fix a little hiccup on the train tracks. Of course, within our terms, we just can't act recklessly and not get approval of the state. But, it just shows that it's of the essence and our people matter, and we're not willing to always wait and be patient. So I love the proactiveness of our city manager. He leads us well every day.
What else did you do at last night's meeting?
So last night we also had a Firehouse Subs grant approved through us. The grant is for a boat through the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. We're going to have an aluminum hull rescue boat. We'll utilize that for the area of Old Hickory Lake that lies within the city, as well as flooding events such as the one that occurred a couple of years ago along Stoner Creek that flooded North Mount Juliet Road and Old Lebanon Dirt Road areas. Our personnel, of course, are going to be trained on this before we get it out and active in service, and we're going to keep that at Clemens Road where our fire admin is currently housed. All that information coming from Mark Folks, our fire chief, doing a great job, and Firehouse Subs has been super fantastic to the city. J.R. Edens does a great job over there. He's the previous owner at Firehouse Subs in Mount Juliet, and we appreciate the heck out of him and what they do for our firefighters. They do great work. We have added to our staff. As you know, we are a ISO 3, and we started out as a 10 and hope to be a 1. That puts money back in the pockets of the citizens in Mount Juliet, and certainly allows us to offer elite services for the citizens that deserve nothing less than that.
All right. I just happened to think tomorrow Mark Hinesley is going to be here from the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. It's very seldom that the two of you are back to back, but this became necessary because of the county commission changing the day on which it met, and we had Mike Jennings last Wednesday and forcing Mark to come a week late, or at least that's the way we worked it out. I say all that to say this. I'm going to ask him to give you a grade in the morning and see if he agrees with all you've told us. I'm picking
I
at
just hope we don't put your audience to sleep on their drive into work.
Oh, we're going to take a break right here. Justin Beasley, Information Officer for Information Director for the City of Mount Juliet, is here in our program, brought to you by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and that regular oil change, $39.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic volume increasing quite a bit now as we check it out live on 24 westbound at Bell Road, Hickory Hollow Parkway. You got all that traffic volume coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, sliding into Davidson County right now. 65 south is also heavy as you come through Millersville all the way down to Trinity Lane. Watch your speed. I-40 out in Dixon County this morning around Highway 46. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken has live entertainment every Wednesday night. That's tomorrow night from 6 to 9. Check it out at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
It's tax time, and Cars Unlimited Tax Service is locally owned and has 33 years of experience in preparing taxes. They do upfront loans of $250 to $6,000. They're also an authorized IRS e-file provider. Call 615-449-2955 or stop by 1006 West Main Street in Lebanon. Cars Unlimited Tax Service stands ready to help you prepare your taxes. And we continue here on this Tuesday morning. Again, our program brought to you by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Justin Beasley is with us. He's the Mount Juliet Communications Director. And so, Justin, I'm going to throw it back to you. And anything else from last night's meeting or whatever else is on your mind this morning, let's hear it.
Coleman, nothing else from the meeting. It is 7:17. I'd be lying to you if I wasn't thinking about lunch. Mm-hmm. And that brings me to my next point. Mount Juliet, February has been really good to us. I tell you, 4 businesses that are now calling Mount Juliet home that we are just super, super thrilled about. First off, we'll go in order. Slick City, they are basically like a jump park for kids and even adults. They've got places all across the nation. This is a huge, as far as square feet. I think it's something around 40,000 square feet of space that they're going to build near Costco. They were approved on Planning Commission last Thursday through Planning Commission, their initial plans. And they're bringing, just a huge jump park to Mount Juliet. And we need entertainment. We're looking for entertainment. We're always out there trying to bring that to our city and showcase that we're ready for it. We think that's something that's going to separate us in the county as far as, entertainment is concerned. The second business, they lack no popularity either. Tim Hortons, first spot in Mount Juliet within the state of Tennessee, is at their home at Golden Bear Market in front of the Jackson Hill subdivision. They had a soft opening on Monday, President's Day, last week. And then Tuesday, we went over there to do a little feature, and it was just hustling. People were in and out all the time. I drove past there this weekend. The entire parking lot for the Golden Bear Market was packed. And as I said, they're not there to get gas. Now, a lot of people are, but the majority were there to get Tim Hortons. It's a Canadian coffee, and I guess it rivals anything that you would say is your best coffee, because a ton of people were there and knew about the brand and were familiar with it. I tried some coffee. I got a double-double. It was fantastic. So we're glad to have those two businesses. The third one is Salvo's, authentic New York-style pizza and pasta. They have many locations, Hermitage, I think Hendersonville, just really around the Middle Tennessee area, a very well-known brand. That pizza was fantastic. Tried it last week. Home. They do catering, carry-out, dine-in. They do spirit nights for all the kids. They're right across from Green Hill High School, located on Lebanon Road. Super thankful to have them. And as of just of yesterday, Chipotle, very known big brand, very fresh Mexican food, fast food on the go. They now have a location on the north side. The other one is near Longhorn, near the middle of town. This Chipotle is on the north side on Lebanon Road within Lineberry Properties. We're excited to have them. So when you talk about, what's the city doing? What are they bringing here? We want X, Y, and Z. Man, I tell you, we check a lot of boxes. Entertainment, two huge national brands, and then another pizza spot to go to. We're just super grateful to have that in Mount Juliet. As I said, and I'll say it again, 25 years ago, Kenny Martin says it all the time, you couldn't buy underwear in Mount Juliet. Now you've got all these different places to patronize, and we think we're really giving our citizens what they want. But, hey, it's a what have you done for me lately league. It's just like the NFL. We know we got to deliver some great things in March, and, boy, we're going to get right back at it and try to do that and have another good month next month as well.
Yeah, and I guess it won't be too long before budgets for the next fiscal year will start being discussed and gone through. Do you have much I'm sure you keep your ear to the ground, nose to the ground, however you say that. You're aware it's going on, but you don't have much in what decisions are made, but you do know about the budget process and stay up to date on it as much as you can, I'm sure.
Yes, and let me tell you, it is a blessing to not have much say-so on the budget. There are far more smarter people at City Hall than myself to figure all that out. But I got some emails yesterday from our finance director as far as a needs assessment and what individual departments need and City Hall as a whole just to perform our day-to-day functions. So those conversations are revving up. We start to do some workshops around March and April just to make sure, or at least those discussions before we have those workshops earlier in the summer, just to make sure that everything is there. We like to submit that to the state comptroller and get it all approved within time. You hear about the national government and all that federal taking a pause. We can't afford a pause at the local level. Way too much work to do and way too many services to provide our citizens. So we want to avoid that at all costs. Fortunately, we got the best finance director in the world in Dana Heyer. She does a great job. I can say that she's the only finance director I've worked for, so you can't prove me wrong on that one, Coleman.
Well, we haven't really talked much about your department, as communications director. Do you have a secretary? You do have an office, I guess, someplace to hang out. Although you're out and about a lot, no doubt. But what's your department, or are you a one person thing? I don't think we've ever talked about that.
But we as in me, I'm a one-man band, and I'm used to that. When I was at Channel 4 and my previous TV job, I shot the story, I edited the story, I wrote the story, I presented the story, I posted it online. So I kind of like it by nature. I love teamwork, and a lot of the stuff I do is with Jennifer Hamlin, our Economic Development Services. She's our Development Services Director. I do a lot of stuff with Rocky Lee. As the spokesperson, I'm tasked with representing, the mayor, the city manager at a lot of events. But if it can come straight from the horse's mouth, the department head, I understand. I don't want people to see me up on the big screen 24/7. I mean, I think that even gets old for me. So I like to spread the wealth. I like to brag on different departments. So I do get a lot of help when it comes to, seasonally bragging on our parks department, when they get revved up in the spring and fall and summer. Economic development is really all year round. I do some stuff with Matt White, Shane Shaminer with Public Works. So really every day is different. I do dabble a lot in economic development. We call it business retention specifically, going out and highlighting these businesses, especially the new ones that open, because Coleman, I never go to bed thinking, well, every 40,000 people plus know about Salvo's or Tim Hortons. I go in with the mindset of, even if you're Costco, I'm trying to tell you about them, because we need people to patronize. We need people to keep shopping local, and that's very important to the ecosystem that we've created within the structure and our culture. So that really helps me dabble a lot in economic development and help out Jennifer Hamlin, because we're always trying to showcase Mount Juliet to bring the businesses that our citizens deserve. And as the four that I aforementioned a little bit earlier, I think those are huge, huge steps to what we're wanting to create.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've grown exponentially, I believe would be the word, in these past few years, and you can pretty much pick and choose up to a point what you want, maybe what you don't want, and probably have some sort of a game plan that you work on all the time as to what will be good to have here and what might not be so good. That's a fairly true statement, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's a ton of forecasting from Kenny Martin. You look at maybe sometimes where there are vacant buildings. Most of the time, the developer, the property owner, is tasked with filling that tenancy. Well, we don't look at it like that at the city. We look, hey, how can we help? We've got, it's kind of like college basketball, college football. If your coach leaves, you got a short list of who you want to hire, right, to fill that vacancy. No different in the city of Mount Juliet. We know what somebody needs with square footage, rent, what kind of location they want. So if a business does choose to leave or goes out of business, God forbid, we've got contingency plans to get somebody new in that spot as soon as possible. We obviously work with the developer, the owner of that property, as much as we can to make sure it's a good fit. And it takes teamwork. Jennifer Hamlin leads that department. Kenny Martin, our city manager, is the one that kind of gave her the reins, because he used to wear the ECD hat and still does. He's just, giving her more of the reins on that. And then I come in to help where needed. It's really, as Kenny Martin says, everybody in the city does economic development. It starts with how our fire chief dresses. It starts with how we police. It starts with how our roads look. It starts with how we care about customer service. And all of that adds up and makes a difference. And I would say in the last couple of years, we're starting to see the fruit that it bears. We have a Costco. That's a huge deal for little old Mount Juliet 20 years ago. We've got a Sprouts coming. We've got a BJ's Wholesale. We've got Slick City. I mean, these things are things that we, hoped and prayed for many, many moons ago, and now we have it. So let's enjoy our blessings. Let's smell the roses for a minute, but also we got more work to do. We know that.
All right, I'm going to change something drastically here for our last minute or so, and I want to turn to sports, and in particular, high school basketball. And I'll have to confess, I have not kept up with it a great deal, and especially your two high schools, but it's about tournament time, I think. How are things looking for your boys and girls, two high schools?
Well, Coleman, I'm going to have to have followed it. And there's a lot grabbing my attention today. I did spend some time at Green Hill High School a couple of weeks ago with Christian Capozzi. He teaches the media class there. Him and E.J. Wood, he is the athletic director. I did hear that they have a really, really, really good girls team, maybe one of the best ones that they've had. So that's really all I can report. I think think Green Hill hosted a basketball tournament last week. Might have been districts. I usually don't start paying attention until about regionals, just to see who's vying for those spots at the state. And then, of course, they play at the Murphy Center. So that's when I really start paying attention. But Coleman, man, I apologize. I can't tell you I've been paying attention a lot to it.
Well, that doesn't make. I don't feel hardly as bad for not knowing now that you don't know all of it either. Well,
feel better, Coleman.
We've come to the end of our time here this morning. It's always good to have you with us, and we'll do it again, I guess, in 2 weeks. Thanks so much, Justin Beasley. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Coleman. Y'all have a great week.
All right. That is part one of Coleman and Company, and of course, it's brought to you by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We want you to stay with us for more right here on FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Absolute Kubota. High performance, high horsepower, 0% financing is still a thing. Now is the best time to save on new Kubota L-Series tractors, rated #1 for durability and owner experience in the U.S. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Starting to load up even more now as we check it out live on 24 westbound at 840. All that traffic coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. Just trying its best to get up through the Antioch area. It's pretty crowded up through there. 65 south, you guessed it, it's slow over here at Trinity Lane. Also heavy on 40 west as you approach Donaldson Pike. It's loading up also westbound Vietnam Vets at Conference Drive. Hey, whether you need a new roof repair, roof inspection, call Independent Roofing Specialists today. I'm Commander Chuck, you're on time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
Where a patient starts their cancer care matters. And here, that means Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, Wilson County. It's Vanderbilt level care without making the drive to Nashville. From screening to diagnosis to treatment and recovery, patients can get all the care they need right here close to home. So now, having the best care team and most advanced treatment is closer than ever. Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, making cancer care personal.
We'll have sunny and warmer conditions this afternoon. Highs will be in the upper 60s. Clear to partly cloudy tonight. Lows in the upper 30s. Then even warmer for our Wednesday. Partly cloudy. Highs in the lower 70s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your severe view forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
And we welcome you to part two of Coleman and Company. It's a Tuesday morning and time for us to talk about Hearthside Senior Living. It is located at 215 Castle Heights Avenue North here in Lebanon. Hearthside Retirement and Assisted Living Community. Sean Dozier's Executive Director. He is not going to be with us this morning, and he just asked me to do a commercial for him. So I have a little information I would like to share with you this morning. We say many times here on the program that it is Hearthside Senior Living when it's time for a helping hand. And it is our community's nonprofit assisted living provider, locally owned and managed. It's been voted best in Wilson County many times. And of course, Sean comes here each Tuesday to tell us a little bit about it. But I just want to remind you of a few things you probably already know, but especially if you are considering assisted living, especially, and possibly a retirement community. They have such a long list, really, for the retirement community. They're such a popular place, but if you're thinking about it, go ahead and get on the list, and maybe one of these days you'll be called. But if you need assisted living or even thinking about it, you can get on the list. It's a much shorter one, and usually it doesn't take too long to get located there if you'd like. Hearthside provides all of the residents the following quality services: 3 nutritious meals daily. 3 nutritious meals. Medicine administration, health monitoring, 24-hour emergency response, housekeeping, personal laundry and linen service, dual emergency call system, social activities, free cable TV, and towels are provided. And that is really great. The apartments feature large square footage in rooms, wall-to-wall carpeting, individual temperature controls, 24-hour emergency call system, kitchenettes in suites, and large walk-in closets in suites. Again, it has been voted the best of the best in Wilson County for a number of years. Actually, I think it was 9 years in a row, and we're continuing, and I don't know what the number is right now. But it is a senior living that's rooted in ministry, serving senior citizens who desire a safe and beautiful environment within a Christian community. It was started by College Hills Church of Christ in 1994. It continues to be a vibrant ministry of the church. And, of course, it's a beautiful chalet-like atmosphere with large dining and activity spaces, including small, medium, and large resident rooms. I'm sure most of you know most of this, but if you're not aware of Hearthside, you don't know some of the things we're even mentioning here and want to check it out, they'd be happy for you to, you can call and make an appointment if you'd like at 615-443-1994. But you're welcome to just come in, drop by anytime. As Sean Dozier says, you do that, you see it like it is. We don't have time to prepare for you that way, and you really get an honest look of what it's all about. And, of course, Hearthside is located right in the heart of Lebanon, Tennessee, on the historic Castle Heights Military Academy campus, and they just welcome you to pay them a visit or check out their website, www.hearthsideliving.com. And I guess that's about it. We usually have a Hearthside hello, and I'm gonna give a Hearthside hello this morning to our boss, Susie James. How's that? I don't know if she's ever received a Hearthside hello from Sean or not, but we'll make Susie our Hearthside hello today. And again, it's Hearthside Senior Living, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, and we hope you'll remember them when it's time for a helping hand. All right, we're about 23 minutes before the hour, and part two of Coleman and Company this morning is a paid political program and paid for by the Wilson County Democratic Women. And I want to welcome my two guests this morning. We have Joni Cochran. Joni, good morning.
Good morning.
You. And we have Miriam Apple Fasley.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Did I get that close to right?
You're getting it. Yes, that was wonderful. Thank you.
It's taken me a while. Both of you have been with us before.
Yes.
Both of you ran for political office and were here. We tried to give most of the contested candidates a little publicity and a little time on Coleman and Company, which we did. But you're paying for the program this morning, and so. Joni and Miriam, it is nice to see both of you again.
Good to be
and
here.
I know you want us to get right into the issues, so why don't you bring us up to date on what the Democrats have been doing in Wilson County?
I'll take that one. Thank you.
Joni.
Thank you. We have been very busy. We want to talk about the fundraiser that we held. Our annual chili cook-off was held on Saturday, and it was an absolute blowout. Standing room only. We sold out tickets, and we had wonderful speakers, and it was a good time. We raised a lot of money for our initiatives going forward here in the next couple of years, the next election cycle. So we had a lot of fun. It was great to see so many people turn out and participate. I think Democrats are fired up now for dealing with what's coming. Just to review some of the things that we've done in the last 18 months or so, the Wilson County Democratic Women raised over $1,000. I want to say it's closer to $1,500 that we gave, but raised that money for the LSSD Family Resource Summer Reading Program last year. And we have certainly donated goods to several organizations throughout the county. We collect period products and donate them to the Mount Juliet Help Center every month, and collected cash and things like that to donate as well. We raised just recently during the cold snap in January. You'll recall that WEMA opened a shelter on the fairgrounds. This was amazing. We put out a call to both the party party members and the women's club members. And in less than 24 hours, we raised over $1,000. And we took that money and went shopping and donated food and supplies and so forth to that cold weather shelter. We have been supporting Juneteenth. The last 2 years, we've had booths there, and we've participated in the Mount Juliet Halloween in the Park, and of course the Wilson County State Fair. We've been in every parade that we've been able to participate in, all the Christmas parades and the 4th of July and so forth. Last year we made a big splash at the Imagination Library. Books from Birth, Imagination Library dinner. The women had a table, the party had a table, and we walked away with a couple of the prizes that they awarded for decorating, and that was exciting. And that's just, donations to Brooks House. We put together gift baskets for Parks and Recreation in all 3 cities, and we raised around $5,000 to pay off school lunch debt. Last spring, we were able to pay off all the lunch debt for the entire 5th district and all the graduating seniors. So, and then we could talk about all of the candidates that we were able to recruit to run for office.
If I could ask, are you a growing organization? And I'm just wondering how big you are, how big you want to be, or.
Well, we want to be as big as we can be, obviously. Yes, we are growing. We, as I went door knocking for my campaign, it was notable that many people reacted pretty much the same way. It was like, oh, wow, how do I get involved? Where can I find? Who do I call? What? And so we've been growing it organically. And it's been, as one person comes along, they bring 2 or 3 more and 2 or 3 more, and before you know it, we've sold out our chili cook-off, and that's never happened before.
Miriam, anything you want to add to this, perhaps?
Well, I just want to say, I think the Wilson County Dem Party, as I've got to know them, is about Wilson County. And I think a lot of times it's confusing because people learn about Democrats, the boogeyman, on TV or on a national level doing all this crazy stuff. But I think interacting with the local party, you'll see that it's your neighbors. It's just folks doing chili, making chili. I think there was 25 chilies. I was there, and I came too late, and I couldn't even taste the winners. I just wanted to let everybody know for next year, you got to get there early. But anyways, we talk about chili. We talk about the prices of eggs and groceries, and we drop our kids off at school and pick them up. I mean, so I think if anybody's interested and curious and worried about what you've been hearing about Dems on the radio or on the TV, just show up to one of their events and look them up on Instagram or on the website. They're everywhere, and just get to know them before you make your judgments. That's what I'll say.
All right. Well, let's talk about how you're viewing the work that is being done at the federal level.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
All right.
Since I've had my eye on what's going on. So federal level generally for, folks that live in Wilson County or anywhere is really none of my business. A lot of times people are like, I still got to wake up and go to work. I still got to come home. I still got to, put food on the table. So I don't know what those federal people are doing in D.C. And honestly, I don't care. I hear that a lot. And I connect with that. But I wanted to bring up the federal level because it's been in our faces quite a bit. And the way that I want to talk about it is, one, in terms of Medicaid, but 2, in terms of a story that I recently learned. So back in 1981, a bunch of air traffic controllers, which we're learning now, are very, very important. And their job is very hard and it takes about 3 years to train to become an air traffic controller. And it's very stressful. What is she talking about? Well, in 1981, 11,000 of them went on strike. And President Reagan said, no, sir. And he said, not only will you not work for the federal government anymore, you are barred from ever coming back. So he doged the air traffic controllers. He took the Department of Government Efficiency before it existed, before Elon Musk, and he doged them because he was mad at them for striking. And however you feel about that, we never recovered from that firing of those 11,000 people. It took about 10 years to to rebuild that department. And that is a safety concern. So however you feel about what you're hearing about all these firings and everything, because it doesn't relate to you, you're just waking up, going to work, coming home. I just want you to know it's going to take a long time, if ever, should we decide that some of these national security jobs, some of these military jobs, some of these mental health workers at the Veterans Affairs Department, some of all, the diabetes researchers, we want them back. Well, good luck. So I think everybody needs to be thinking twice about the chainsawing of the federal government. I'd also love to talk about Medicaid if we have a moment.
Sure.
Okay. So right now we're in a budget conversation at the federal level. I don't know if anybody knows that, but they're basically deciding how they're going to spend our taxpayer money. And what they're deciding is that the biggest place to make savings is Medicaid. In fact, they want $880 billion in cuts in Medicaid. Now, in Wilson County, what does that mean? Well, did you know that most folks working that make $50,000 or $60,000 have their kid on TennCare? Because it's really hard. It's a struggle to survive on $50 or $60K, even in Wilson County, with those rents being what they are and groceries being what they are. So a lot of people have, in Wilson County, 13,000 kids are on TennCare. Guess what? That's Medicaid. They want to cut Medicaid. They actually want to cut $3.3 trillion, and they want to increase the United States credit card limit to $4 trillion. Why do they want to do that, y'all? Can you guess? It's time for a tax cut for the wealthy and the corporations. The 2017 tax cut is ending this year, and they've got to renew it. And they know it's going to cost about $5 trillion to renew that. And they've got to find that money somewhere in the couch cushions, under the bed, wherever they can. And it's a lot. It's $3.3 trillion. So that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm thinking about. I have a disabled family member that relies on Medicaid. She's got in-home care. We've got family we've got family members that voted for this administration, and they are trying to figure out how this all works out because they believed in this administration. But cutting Medicaid was not what they voted for. That's not what they signed up for. So I think we're all trying to figure out how far is too far in the so-called efficiency. Let's not get back to losing people that we need in the government, and let's not cut programs and services, because essentially what this is stealing from the poor to give to the rich.
All right, it is time for us to take a break. I'll reintroduce my guests when we come back. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by Bates Ford. Get a battery installed in most vehicles, $199.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. A couple of accidents getting some attention out here. Here's what we're seeing. Heavy traffic trying to get up through Spring Hill right now in that section of Murray County coming into South Williamson County on 65 northbound up through Franklin Brentwood. It's crowded 24 westbound. There in Antioch coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. I see a little bit of a slowdown. 65 south through Millersville approaching Bethel Road. Hey, when you need dependable towing here in Middle Tennessee, make sure you call STR Towing and Recovery, strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Hi, Phoenix fans. I'm Marcelo Saldana, a left-handed pitcher on the Cumberland baseball team from Clovis, California. The Phoenix returned home from the road this week with a single game on Tuesday versus Tennessee Southern, and will be at home on the weekend with a 4-game series versus Michigan Dearborn. We could really use your support, so come out onto the 6 where all the veterans get in free. Hear all of our games on these radio stations or online at WANTFM.com or GoCumberlandathletics.com. Check the Cumberland website for game times and schedule changes. I'll see you at the 6.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
And we continue here on this Tuesday morning. Our program is being paid for this morning by the Wilson County Democratic Women, and we do have with us this morning Joni Cochran and Miriam Abel-Fazli. And we appreciate having them here, of course, talking about some of the issues that are, I guess we could say, near and dear to your heart. And we were just talking about the proposed cuts to Medicaid with Miriam. And Joni, we'll go back to you and ask you reaction to Governor Lee's $59.9 billion proposed state budget, which is being discussed now in the state legislature.
Yes, thank you. These are just takeaways. I haven't been able to dive into all the nitty-gritty, but I listened to one of our Wilson County representatives sort of go line by line on some highlights, and it struck me after a conversation with Miriam and some other folks that there are really some fairly progressive things going on with our budget, which would be surprising for a conservative Republican, right, Governor? $244 million for education, $25 million for farmland conservation. Environmentalists would do love that kind of thing. $100 million for the Duck River. I'm not going to argue with that. I think those are great causes and great things to do. $52 million for state parks and money for TCAT scholarships. Summer learning programs, $41 million more to DCS, $5.9 million for child care assistance. Those are all things that anybody can get along with, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a conservative, a liberal, whatever. Those are things that actually help people. The one thing that I was disappointed that the budget does not include is the repeal of the grocery tax. Afton Ben has sponsored a bill, it's House Bill 2, that would repeal the grocery tax and actually pay for it by closing a corporate loophole. And in the research that I've done on that particular loophole, it has to do with reporting worldwide income. And it's something that I think up to 12 other states have already done, and more states are showing movement toward that. And in Tennessee alone, closing that loophole would bring in about $891 million more tax dollars to Tennessee. I think that's a good thing.
How would it do that?
Well, by forcing them to report their worldwide income and not allowing them to hide their profits in offshore accounts and businesses. What some corporations are doing right now is they're saying, well, we didn't earn that money in the United States. We actually earned it over there. And through accounting, sleight of hand, it makes it look like it was earned in Europe or Asia or somewhere else and not subject to U.S. tax. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one move through the House. And then, of course, the special session, as we know, the voucher bill was approved, and that's going to put a strain on our budget going forward in spite of what we're being told. I just don't believe them. It's going to be a budget buster. Everything that we have seen in other states that have tried this, it has been a budget disaster. So those are just my high-level takeaways.
You are totally opposed to the voucher and the bill that passed?
Yes, sir, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I went to Senator Pote's mini town hall that the chamber hosted here a couple Fridays ago, and I asked him, he talked about, well, it's about parent choice and that sort of thing, and I know you and I have had this conversation on a previous program. I think it's not fully honest to say it's all about parent choice, and I asked him the question, when a child who's already in a private school takes a voucher, what choice is that child getting that they didn't already have? And so far, nobody's been able to answer my question.
And 60% of the vouchers go to people that are already in private school.
At least 60%, as much as 75% in other cases. So I am philosophically and fiscally opposed to the whole thing.
Anything else about the state budget you want to comment on?
Just to sort of hop on what Miriam said about Medicaid and TennCare and that sort of thing, we do have over 13,000 children in Wilson County who depend on that for their health care. And
is this going to change?
Well, it depends on what they do at the federal level. If they slash and burn the budget for that, then either Tennessee picks up that bill, which we've seen that they've been averse to do, and I'll use the summer food program as an example of that. We heard just yesterday. The week feels long already. It's only Tuesday. We heard just yesterday that because the state experienced $6 million expense to administer that summer food program, the governor chose not to do it again and is now investing half that money, $3 million, in a very much watered down version of that. Well, I did a little math. The $3 million that Governor Lee's talking about for the summer food program will serve 25,000 children. Okay, $120, a one-time $120 payment, that comes out to about 25,000 children. The program that we had when we took the federal money, it served 640,000 children. And that averaged out to $9.38 a child that it cost the state. You know what? I'll write a check. I'll cover a couple of kids. You know what? And and then you put that up against the $1.6 billion that went out in corporate tax refunds for no good reason. There was a way around that. They didn't have to do it that way.
All right. What about upcoming bills that voters should focus on this week?
Well, there is a bill that's going to be heard in subcommittee today talking about, oh gosh, it just escaped me, support. I've got it written down. If you bear with me just a moment.
She brought a few notes.
I did. I did. I try to be over-prepared sometimes. Full-service community schools. It's going to be heard today, and in the K-12 subcommittee. It sounds like a good idea, but it's a lot of do this, do that. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to have at least one of these in every LEA, and there's no way to fund it. There's nothing in the bill that talks about how that's going to get paid for. So it looks like another unfunded mandate that's being put on school systems that are already about to break from all of the requirements that they have to fulfill.
Does this affect everybody? I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be heard in subcommittee today, so we'll learn a whole lot more about this thing when the sponsor has to defend it. There's another bill in the Full Education Committee regarding cell phones in schools and restricting student use of cell phones in schools. Gino Bolso's got a bill that's up today in Full Education. I call it the separate but equal bathroom bill. And I'm really interested in how they're going to enforce this thing because he's arguing that basically boys and girls should be separated by what he calls immutable biological sex. I would love to hear him explain how that's going to be enforced if this thing passes. Are children going to have to carry birth certificates with them everywhere they go? Are they going to have to be subjected to some sort of physical inspection? This it's a bad bill. Representative Lynn has got one that will be moving through. It won't be heard today, but it'll be moving through eventually, where voter registrations will require party designation on their applications. And Senator Pody has one affecting elections where he's got something that's going to change the forms of ID that will be acceptable for voting purposes. Not a lot of detail on either one of those other than just the headline. And I think there's a whole lot more. As you can tell, I have a lot of bills that I'm tracking, so there's just a whole lot more to pay attention to.
Okay, you are coming back. We're going to be doing a series of programs here, but we've got a couple of minutes left. And how about final thoughts this morning from either one of you?
I'll just chime in really quick because during the break we talked about love and cutting deficits, which I just want to make very clear. I am all about cutting the deficit. Our debt financing is terrifying to me. As a culture, we need to stop our credit limits expanding every year. But taking a chainsaw instead of a scalpel and taking it to, it's kind of like when I'm like, oh, a family, we need to do a budget cut. And I go for like Netflix as opposed to, a $200 meal at some place. Like, you got to cut out the big things, not the little things. And if you go for a big thing, USAID was 1% of our budget and it's gone. So some of this is just for show, just for propaganda, whatnot. If you're going to go for the big one, if that's Medicaid, make sure that your people are okay. Make sure that we don't increase homelessness, we don't increase poverty, we don't increase addiction, we don't increase crime as a result of getting rid of Medicaid. Because these supports are here for a reason. And certainly, I know people love billionaires. I understand. I don't understand it, but I know people love billionaires. Just make sure it doesn't line those that already have plenty with more. And that's what I'll say.
Got a minute left. Joni, you want to conclude?
Well, there's a lot to pay attention to, and sometimes it can be a little difficult to figure out which ends up. But I think it's important for everyone to be involved and to pay attention, particularly at the state and local level. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to come on here and bring attention to these things that impact Wilson County directly, and understand that our representatives were elected to represent us and not dark money.
All right. Well, we've come to the end of our time here this morning, and we have had with us this morning Joni Cochran and Miriam Apple-Fasley, and our program paid for by the Wilson County Democratic Women. Y'all will be back a week from Friday, I believe, and we've got maybe 4 other times you're planning to do mostly during the legislative session. Yes. So thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And that is it for Tuesday. Join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a terrific day.